Hey, how you doing? We are back for another review of Sisters on BET. The title very serious. We are in season one, episode 4. So let's just jump right into it. I would apologize in advance if my voice cracks up because I am slightly under the weather, but we're gonna get through it. Okay. All right. So this episode starts out and Andy is still in her office, and Gary's wife is apologizing for wasting her time and lets Andy know that she's going to continue fighting for Gary, and she also lets Andy know that she wouldn't understand it until she actually gets married, which it's sort of a dagger to Andy at this point because that's all she's ever really wanted at this point. Um, and Gary's wife also lets us know that she is willing to take a lot of crap in order to protect what she has built, i.e., the marriage. Sis, I get it. Fight for what you like, go for what you know, all that good stuff. But to what extent? Like, you just gonna keep fighting? You just gonna keep taking shit, even though you don't have no concrete evidence? Don't know about that. That's a bit foolish in my opinion, but we'll go with it. That's your marriage, girl. If you want to keep fighting, girl, keep fighting. Not my business. Um, anyway, when she leaves, Andy goes in the background. She's kind of having like a panic attack. She's breaking down. She's not taking the news very well. So she calls Karen, and Karen says she's on the way to her. Um, she's on the way to help Andy, according to her. In the meantime, Andy's boss pulls her aside and lets her ask her, what did you do? Why does Gary's wife not want to be represented by us anymore? Why did she cancel the lawsuit? And then he lets her know, like, I didn't have anything to do with it. Well, he lets her know, hey, all right, you didn't have anything to do with it. However, you need to go home because it looks like you've been crying. So this conflict of interest is much more of a conflict than I originally thought. So, now Andy has to go home to get herself together for the day. She's not fired just yet, but she needs to go home and get her shit together because she's losing it over this whole Gary situation. All right, so this part was weird to me because he tells her to go home, but not because he's truly concerned about her being distraught over this failed relationship, which was doomed from the start, might I add. But he's upset because in my opinion, his cash cow is not at her best, so he's gonna need her, to keep bringing in clientele, to keep bringing in money. And he reminds her, hey, that their number one goal is to create revenue, which that's understandable. But I just feel like she's there to meet that quota. She's black, she's a woman. They don't have that in the office, so she's bringing in a totally different stream of income that they would not normally have access to. But that's just my opinion. Um, so we go back over to the bank, and the and not we go back over to Karen and Aaron, which is the ice cream dude. He calls her at work, and he's a well, he's just playing, but he's upset that she hasn't called him, even though it's only been 24 hours since he left the rose and his information in her car. And he tells her, I want to take you on a date in order to apologize for my behavior, blah, blah, blah. So they've agreed to go on a date and try to hash things out and see what comes of this particular situation. All right, we are back, and we're at the airport, and we see Zach kind of take something. He's talking to another one of the coworkers, and Danny kind of badgers the woman and says, "Hey, what are y'all talking about?" And she kind of uses some ploy to get the lady to tell her what her and Zach have been talking about and what that whole interaction was about. And Danny says, "Hey, he gave me herpes, so I just want to make sure you're okay if you're sleeping with him," which is not the case, but she wants to find out information about who the girl is and how she relates to Zach. Well, the lady eventually tells her, like, hey, my uncle owns a homeless shelter and Zach is living there for the time being. So sometimes I bring him dinner and, I help him out just because I feel bad for him, nothing more, nothing less. So now Danny kind of feels bad for Zach at this point. We'll keep that in mind. So we'll come back to that. All right, so we move on. We're back at the bank, and Sabrina is ignoring her gay coworker because she feels like that Calvin, the metrosexual dude, chose him over her. She's not really privy to what's happening, and he finally admits to her, like, hey, we were just having coffee, and he was only asking me more information about you in order to get to know you better. Actually, it was not even about me at all. So he, basically had to accept defeat that he didn't get the dude, and the dude is actually only interested in Sabrina at this point. So he tells her, you also need to go ahead and call him because you were being judgmental. And she goes on to remind him, like, hey, yeah, I was only being judgmental off of your his off of his recommendation, like, hey, yeah, girl, he might be gay, whatever, whatnot. But what I did find interesting is Sabrina's a bit more impressionable than I'm comfortable with. Like, she is easily talked into things. Like, that gay dude was easily able to convince her that her dude was gay. He was easily able to convince her to give him a second chance to go on a date. Like, it didn't take much coaxing to kind of sway her one way or another. So that, I guess, that's an interesting character trait as it relates to Sabrina, but we're just gonna go with it for now. Just something I noticed. All right, so we go back, and Andy is at Karen's job. Karen never got to Andy at work because her boss sent her home. So instead of going home, she goes to Karen's shop, and she's having a breakdown, she's having a meltdown, and she kind of wants to go to Gary's job and put him on blast. And Karen lets Andy know, like, hey, that's not a good idea. Let's just block him while I block Zach. Let's delete their contacts, and let's finally kind of wash our hands of these dudes and start fresh. And I guess they kind of seal that revelation yet again with a joint. And so they're in the back of the hair salon just smoking weed, making yet another pact to leave these dudes alone. Don't know if it'll stick this time, but quite possibly. I don't know. All right, so we go back to the office and the airport, the airline, and Danny is talking to Zach, and she lets him know, like, hey, I know you're living at the shelter. I want to offer you a room at my apartment because I need help on the rent. If you could pay half the rent, you can stay, blah, 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 blah. And Danny claims that it's just until he can get, Danny claims she wants to offer Zach a place to live just until he can get just until Danny can get Karen and Zach back together, because she feels like they should be together for some magical reason. Just me. I don't know about anybody else. Me personally, I'm not in the business of offering my best friend's ex my home to live in, because when you had a home with her, you didn't take it. You took advantage of it. You didn't make the best out of the situation. So there's nothing I can do for you, brother. I can bring you some chicken soup. I can bring you some old clothes, but you can't stay at my house. That's just me. So with that being said, I am willing to think that they may end up sleeping together, Zach and Danny, which is definitely going to put a strain on the 4-girl friendship. And there was also some weird lightweight flirting and some fellatio conversation that was happening, because for some reason Zach is aware that Danny has a habit of, what I deduced is when she sees an erect penis, it is her job to make it unerect. That's what I got from the conversation. It's very weird for me to be having with my friend's ex-boyfriend, but okay. All right, so whatever. Moving on. Sabrina and Danny, they're at the grocery store, and Sabrina tells her, that's not a good idea. I don't think you should offer Zach a place to stay, but I think you should stay out of it. And Danny, doesn't really pay attention to that. And we also noticed that we move on to learn that Sabrina is cooking Calvin dinner. And then Danny sees her ex in the grocery store. Ex, which is a loose term because I think it's just someone that she likes, and that she's lightweight stalking. And she sees him in the grocery store with the girl, and she goes berserk. Yeah. All right. So, Karen's at her home and she's having dinner with the grocery store dude. Don't remember his name. But we learned that the dude was in the Marine Corps. Shout out to you. And he was giving her some sort of hellified foot massage up under the table, which in a dinner setting, slightly inappropriate, but do what you gotta do. However, now it's time for them to leave, and he's realized that he has left his wallet. And he, it sounds like let me just trick her into paying the bill type situation, but he doesn't want her to think that. So he decides to call his ex-wife. decides to call his soon-to-be ex-wife to bring him his credit card from the shared home. But okay, pause. We're gonna jump back, and it's now time for Sabrina's date with the metrosexual dude that everybody thinks is gay, and basically they just get to know each other a little bit better, and yeah, that was that whole dinner situation. I just wanted to get that out while it was here in my notes. Um, Shoot back over to Karen and the grocery store dude, and she learned that he needs a lawyer, and he wants Andy's information because he needs her to be his divorce lawyer. And Karen's reluctant to give her Andy's information, to give him Andy's information, but she lets him know like, hey, I'll talk to her, and if she's okay, I'll give you her information. Well, Karen also found it interesting that as they're talking, she learns that the grocery store dude has been with his wife for 15 years and she only cheated once, and he's willing to wipe his hands of the situation. I don't see an issue. Like she seemed specific. She seemed pretty flabbergasted at the fact that he'd be willing to wash away 15 years because of one instance of infidelity. I guess to each his own, but she just could not fathom the fact, which is probably kind of laced with her history of kind of accepting cheaters back over and over and over and over. She just couldn't fathom somebody just ending it after the first offense. But yeah, whatever. So he, after he realized he's left his wallet, he refuses to let her pay the bill, and his wife ends up bringing the credit card, and Karen kind of lets him know, like, hey, there kind of seems like there's something still here, so I'm just gonna let y'all figure that out in the meantime. So we'll stay tuned to see what happens with that next week. Danny's sitting home smoking weed. Zach shows up and he has some rules and regulations, which in someone else's house, that's not very plausible, but we'll go with it. He seems to make it a point to make a rule that Danny needs to, when he's in the bathroom, she doesn't need to come in there. A lot of these rules are kind of laced with previous personal encounters. If that makes sense. Like, he already knows that she has the whole fellatio thing that she does, and that she tends to enter bathrooms when dudes are in there. Like, it's just a smidge inappropriate for me, but I'm just gonna continue watching. Yeah. So then Zach has finally agreed to live with Danny for the time being, until things take whatever turn they take. Andy comes up from the gym and Gary is sitting on the couch, and Mr. Gary is sitting there so full with emotion as usual, and he lets her know that he has left his wife and is officially moving in. She's just standing there with her mouth open, and that is how we end episode 4. All right, so episode 4 has been interesting, so we're going to see what episode 5 has to bring this time next week. Hopefully I can stay caught up, but yeah, that's episode 4 of Sisters. Things are starting to pick up. Storylines are starting to develop a little bit more, so we are going to keep going and see what happens in episode 5 of Sisters on BT. So I will talk to y'all next time. Peace.